Hope everyone's doing fantastic out there. What's interesting, I say good morning champions at the beginning of every talk I do. And, I say it at 10 o'clock at night. I say it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning, because here's the thing. Somewhere along the line, we were told that good morning has something to do with time of day, but it doesn't. We're talking about today, my topic of my talk is restarting your life with clarity and purpose. And good morning is actually just a decision. So I want you to think about this. If something has happened earlier today, we're going through a lot of challenges right now. Maybe something bad has happened or some challenges happened earlier in the day. I want you to think of that as yesterday. That's what I do. I'm like, you know what? That thing that happened 3 hours ago, that thing that got in my way, that kind of threw my trajectory of my day off, that was yesterday. So I'm going to start a new day right now. Clean the slate, brand new day. You can make this decision any time of day. And if that's the case, if we're going to have a brand new day right now, then good morning, right? So it just makes sense. So that's just a little something I want to share with you guys. I love doing that. And then I called you guys champions. Yes, I accuse you of being champions. That's another whole different topic. But I hope you guys understand that you were born for greatness, and hope you realize that. So we're in a very interesting time right now. We've gotten a big wake-up call called COVID-19. And wake-up calls could be scary, but I want to submit to you that they're also very powerful. And I had gotten a wake-up call. My background, I'm Josh Zeppis, by the way. I'm a freedom fighter. I am a creator of Broke is No Joke, which is a movement towards true freedom. And I got a wake-up call that set me off on my journey. This is back, I spent 2 decades in corporate America. And when I was in corporate America, I was very, very successful. I climbed the ladder. At the end of my career, I was multi six-figure, stock options, parking space. I had everything made. And then one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be. I wasn't as wealthy as I needed to be. And I sure as heck wasn't free. So nowadays, so I escaped. And now what I do is help other people do the same. So my favorite F word is freedom. It used to be a different one in corporate America. I'll let you figure that one out. But I love that word, freedom. And that's what it's all about. So when we talk about restarting our lives with clarity and purpose, let's talk about what clarity is. And by the way, that's one of my favorite C words. So I got favorite F words and C words and A words and all kinds of stuff like that. By the way, I'm a comedian, just not the funny kind, so forgive me. So clarity to me is certainty. It's certainty, it's confidence. Clarity is confidence. I want you to think about driving down the road and having the ability to see as far down the road as you need to ensure that you can go nice and fast and straight and stay on the road. But when it gets foggy and you don't have that clarity anymore, it gets scary, right? So clarity gives us some confidence. It's mindsight, not eyesight so much, but mindsight. It's motivation, right? When we can see where we're going, we have more confidence and we're more excited about getting there. So the opposite of clarity, in my opinion, is confusion. The opposite of clarity is not just, someone said earlier, I was talking with someone, they say chaos. I think it's more confusion. It's distraction. It's helplessness. It's fear, right? Without clarity, without being able to see where we're going, without having that clear picture and being able to restart with clarity, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Let me give you an example. I was talking with a client yesterday, and it was a new client of mine, and she asked me, she found out I did Spartan racing, which is obstacle course racing over many, many miles. So climbing ropes and going through mud and swinging on trapeze and all kinds of weird stuff that we do. And she asked me a question. She says, how do you do it? How do you stay motivated to do the race? How come you don't quit halfway through because it looks so difficult? And I said, this is very simple. The first thing I do when I show up to the race is I find the finish line. The first thing I do. I get my race packet, I go into the race and I say, where's the finish line? And I go look at it. And I verify to myself that there actually is a finish line. So I told her the way I don't quit, what keeps me going is I have a clear mental picture that there's a goal, there's an end, that there's a purpose. So that's what keeps me going. In our lives, a lot of times we don't have the finish line. We don't have that clear picture of what the finish line looks like. So we're busy, we're doing a lot of things, we're struggling, we're sweating, we're tired, we're distracted, all this stuff's going on, and we forget why we're doing it. We don't even know why. We don't have that clear picture, that end goal. So that's what I explained to her. So it's just having that clear picture at the end. So restarting your life with clarity and purpose. So what I'd like to do is like to share 3 questions with everybody. And these to me are the 3 most important questions that we must have the answer to if you really do want to restart things with clarity and purpose. If you really, and not just clarity and purpose, but especially clarity of purpose. So these 3 questions, these are the big 3, I call them. And I'm going to share these with you. And this is not usually where I start when I'm working with someone. Usually I like to start with, I call it your life is your business. So I usually like to start, it's kind of like building a business plan and a life plan, which is kind of the same thing if you think about it. I like to ask people, what is your business? And a lot of people say, well, I have a job, I don't have a business, I'm working real hard over here. I'm saying, well, but isn't your life your business, right? And if it's not your business, whose business is it? So I like the approach of all these business tools and all these things we do to build a business. Could we not apply it to our lives? Should we not have our own personal identity? Should we not know what we are? Maybe form a personal mission statement, which is the reason why we get out of bed each morning. Maybe have a vision statement that businesses have, but that also tells us what success looks like for us. So that's usually where I start, but these big 3 questions, I think are so crucial and appropriate to our topic for today. I want to spend the rest of the time, I just want to go through these with you guys. Okay, so the question number 1, the very first question that you must answer if you want to restart with clarity and purpose is, what exactly do you want? What do you want? And it sounds like such a simple question, such a basic question. I understand you've probably heard the question before, but I ask that question to so many people I talk with, and very few people have a clear answer. Very few people really ask themselves that question. And that's a big shame, by the way, because coming from corporate America, I never asked myself that question. And I do ask people, I said, so have you ever considered this question? And they said, no. I said, well, why not? Why not ask this question to yourself? Why not figure out what you want? And what they tell me is heartbreaking. What they tell me is, why? What's the point? I can't get it anyways, right? So we've almost given up on ourselves. We've given up on even asking this very basic question. So when you ask this question, we need to do so with clarity. We need to do so. It's not just what do you want, but what does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Every aspect of this question needs to be explored. It's got to be so clear, almost like you're able to live it. Let me give you an example here. I have a pen. Let me explain the importance of having clarity in what you want. This pen right here, and I know I can't hear you guys, so I'm just going to work with this. This pen right here, how many times was this pen made? And not this kind of pen or this brand, this exact one in my hand. I've heard answers anywhere from 1 time to millions. Let me submit to you, this pen right here was actually made 3 times. The first time it was made, it had to be an idea in someone's head. You see, this pen just did not pop into existence. It didn't roll off the assembly line like that. It had to start as an idea. Someone had to say, I have an idea for a pen that looks like this. If it didn't start here, it never would have made it any further. So the first time this pen is built is in someone's mind. The second time is on paper, specs, materials, dimensions. mechanical, all how it works. And then the third time, it's built on a manufacturing line, right? It's physically built, probably somewhere in China, right? It's okay, I sanitized, we're good. So this pen was built 3 times. So here's the thing. If you can't see it in your mind, you can't possibly hold it in your hand, right? It can't work that way. Things just don't pop into existence. So having that clarity on what you want, having that vision, here's what sometimes can help also, I recommend people do. Go test drive your dreams. Maybe that thing you want is a car. Go test drive it. Maybe you want that dream house. Go take a tour. Go put yourself, maybe you want to travel the world. Go stay at a Ritz-Carlton for 1 night and feel what it's like to have that kind of luxury. Make sure you can really experience it. And then make sure also that you dig deeper into this kind of level of clarity using the question why. The same lady yesterday, it's just interesting that this conversation happened. The same lady I was talking to yesterday, I asked her what she wants. I asked her that question. She says she wants an internship. Okay, I asked her why. That was the end. She didn't know why. It was something that she was told to do. It sounded right. So make sure you dig deep. Be careful not to get stuck on the superficial. For example, if I were to ask a person, what do you want? And they say, I want a car. Okay, great. Why do you want the car? Well, I want to travel and I want to be able to drive throughout the country. Great. Well, why do you want to drive throughout the country? Because I want to go to Nevada. Well, why do you want to go to Nevada? Because that's where my mom lives and I want to visit her. Bam. You see that? We went from the person just wants a car to the true reason the person wants to visit his mom. So don't be afraid to keep drilling down using why and really, really get crystal clear on what that is. Okay, question number 2, make sure I keep on time here. Question number 2 is, why must you have it? Why? Now, not why do you want it? We've all heard that question before. You got to know your why. You got to know why you want it. No. Why must you have it? In other words, if you don't get it, will life go on? If it doesn't happen, will it just be another day and it's okay? Because if that's the case, you're going to have a really, really hard time getting there. You're going to have a really, really hard time getting to where you want to go. So it's got to be something that life can't go on. There's got to be something so authentic and important to you that if you can't answer that question, why must you have it? If it's like, well, I don't really have to have it, choose something else. Pick a different purpose. Pick a different goal, because otherwise it's probably not going to happen. The easiest example of this is your kids. If you have kids or if you have loved ones, your kids are next door to you right now, and that room just caught on fire, and they're starting to yell and scream. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to bust through that wall. You're going to break through that silly thing. You're going to break through that wall, or you're going to die trying, aren't you? Like, all of a sudden, nothing else matters. That must happen, right? People ask me all the time, they say, Josh, how do you avoid distraction? How do you avoid, right, going and losing your clarity and losing your purpose? Boy, distractions, for me, don't exist anymore. You see, distractions are those things. So if your kids are in that burning room and your one main focus is getting there, is helping them out of that room, do you care what's on TV? Do you care what's on social media? Do you care that you're running late to work? Do you care that there's a COVID-19 pandemic out there? For the moment, no. The only thing on your mind, laser focused, clear, is to get your kids out of that burning room, right? So when it's that important to you, when you've got that level of clarity and urgency and it's so authentic, bam, nothing can stop you. There are no distractions. Okay. Number 3, last question. First 2 are the hardest. What do you want with clarity? Number 2, why must you have it? The third one is, how are you going to get it? Right? And that's the easiest way. How are you going to get it? 2 parts to this question. One, the how part is the environment. What environment do you need to be in to get there? They say associations are the most important thing, right? You're going to be just like the 5 people you hang around. So environment is super, super important. And the one piece of advice I can give here is to don't listen to broke people on how to get wealthy. Don't listen to the unhappy on how to be happy. Don't listen to the unsuccessful on how to be successful. You catch my drift? Make sure you're in an environment of competence. You're in an environment of supportive people. So your environment is key. And it's not, people always focus on what they're eating, which is fine, what they're putting into their body. Don't forget about what you're putting into your mind. Make sure the source of information, make sure you're feeding your mind as well as you're feeding your body, because they're both vitally important when it comes to the how. The second part of the how is the details. Here's the good news. We're in the age of information. Maybe not the age of wisdom, but we're in the age of information. So the how is out there. It's been done before, right? My martial arts teachers told me the difference between knowledge and wisdom. He said, knowledge is knowing that tomatoes are fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put into fruit salad, right? So there is a difference. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna leave you with this last challenge, and super blessed to be able to share time with you. This last challenge is, what is the one thing that you can still accomplish in 2020 that will make this the best year you've ever had? Don't worry about 100 different things. What's the one thing that if you were to accomplish it would make this the best year you've ever had? Take that one thing, apply these 3 questions, and go after it, guys. I love you all. I'm blessed and honored to be able to share time with you. Go make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.